This legendary quarterback was drafted first overall in 1970. Woo! We have a true throwback on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
1970. Number one?
Ooh, I was
From where?
I was negative 19 years old in 1970.
I was negative 16.
Mm-hmm. Well,
No, 26.
No,
I was
16.
negative 26 years old.
No, you were born in 1986.
86.
Yeah, so 1986 minus 1970 is negative 16 years old.
Yeah, I was just making, I wanted to see if your math was right.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jules, for checking on it and making me look like a superstar. All right. Well, this guy played 14 seasons in the NFL.
14.
Oh, so you were -2 when he retired. And I was -5. Yeah, I was -5 when he retired.
Man, so this is old.
Wow, we got an old buck on our hand.
Who is this guy?
Old
1970.
geezer, all right. I don't know who it is. Let's keep going. He was known for his strong arm and fearless style.
Fearless.
He led his team to 4 Super Bowl titles in 6 years, earning 2 Super Bowl MVPs with over 27,000 career passing yards and 212 touchdowns. A Louisiana native, he wore 12 his entire football career. Off the field, I think I know who this is now, Jules. All right. I have a feeling.
I'm looking at the picture, so I know.
Well, I mean, I don't, take shortcuts like that, but off the field, he's known for his charisma and humor, making him a beloved broadcaster and entertainer. Ladies and gentlemen, today's first 12 on 12/12/2024 is who, Jules?
Let's get on Terry Bradshaw.
Let's roll, baby. Let's roll.
Oh, Uncle Terry.
All right, Julian.
Uncle Terry.
What's the first thing you think of when you hear Terry Bradshaw?
One word, legend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I grew up watching this guy every morning at 9 o'clock before the Niners games. Didn't really know his career. I mean, like, as a real football head until I got older, until we started like getting to research stuff. You always knew of who he was because he had 4 Super Bowls and he was part of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is like a foundational organization for the AFL, NFL. But then I got to, then we got to work with him, and he's just like a fucking awesome dude. He's like just
the best.
He's such a good dude, and he's been very
such a big heart.
Big heart. He's a superstar, and he makes you feel comfortable. Like in the world, when we jump into that world of being, in TV, Terry Bradshaw. I mean, he's one of the reasons why Fox is what Fox is right now.
He's He's like, what is it? A parent founder.
He's a founder
of the Kickoff pregame show.
He's a founder of the Kickoff show, and him and Howie's in there.
Howie Long and Jimmy Johnson as well.
Jimmy Johnson,
and I think it started with
James Brown.
James Brown,
worked with James Brown, my guy,
who went over to where's
CBS.
he at now? CBS.
Went to
All right,
CBS.
let's not talk about because we have Kurt Menefee now.
Yeah, we got
with
Kurt.
us here at Fox.
We
so
got
Kurt Menefee. It's a pleasure to have him. I'm glad that switch happened. I don't know JB, but I can't imagine having anyone else besides Kurt Menefee.
Yeah, no. But back to Terry. He's just he's like a country dude. He has a story and a joke for anything.
He really does.
Do you remember the joke he got Brady on? Where he told this long story. He's got everyone. We're on this trip, a seminar, and he's telling this story about a dog or something. And like he knows how to get the story going. I mean, it was a 15-minute like starting story or pitch. What do you call that? A 15-minute setup? Like he was setting them up for 15 minutes.
All for a 5-second punchline.
All for a 5-second. He sits there.
Like you're sitting there, like your jaw.
We're all sitting there.
Like you're drooling, like what's going to happen next? Like
and
he's that great of a storyteller.
I forget the punchline, but all the other guys, Howie, Jimmy, Michael, they've heard he tells this damn joke, but he's got Brady on the hook. Brady's sitting there shedding a tear. It's about some dog or something. This dog's dying or something. And I forget what the punchline is, but freaking Howie comes in and he goes, "Oh, the old lady. Yeah, that's a sad one." Like everyone's in on the joke. Brady, who's Mr. Emotion, is sitting there about to cry, and then freaking
I
Terry
think he
drops
did
the
tear a few times.
and then he drops a punchline, which I'm not doing any justice by not being able to tell the joke, but that's the kind of guy Terry is, man. He had the whole fucking cast and crew involved in this thing to get Brady, just to like let him know he's part of the team.
How pissed was Brady?
Oh my
too?
God, he was. What the
he got him good.
He's such a fun guy to work with because he's testing you always too, but he's always giving you little bits of advice.
Yes. That's you hit it exactly right on. And Terry Bradshaw's for the people. He loves people.
Yeah.
He loves entertaining people. He loves having conversation with people. It doesn't matter if you're a kid, if you're a middle-aged man. It doesn't matter, middle-aged woman, like older woman, older man. It doesn't matter. He loves conversation with people. He loves people. Doesn't matter what background you have. He's going to have a good time with you. And that's what makes Terry as well. It makes him a savant, Greatest guy out there. He's testing you like you said, but at the same time, he's giving you career advice. And that's why I love working with him, because he's always keeping you on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes me feel very comfortable at the desk.
Yeah.
He really does. He kind of put me under his wing when I got there. I knew Terry from a couple times before, from a few other appearances, and we were hitting it off. And the best was when I came in the Fox, and my dad's a huge fan of him. And I just literally come right up to him. We already met a couple times already, though, but it's my first time at Fox, and I just never told him that my dad's a huge fan of him. And I walk up, and, Howie's there, Strahan's there, and I go, "Hey, Terry, my dad's the biggest fan." And everyone thought, like, I was going to come in as a big fan, as the new young buck, as the rookie, and everyone just lost their mind. And Howie's like, oh, and Michael Strahan was like, oh, it's his dad that's the biggest fan, just to bust his chops as well. But Terry loved it. Everyone, my dad's age and above, even under, are huge fans of Terry. Everyone loves him. Not, obviously because of his football skills and how much he did for the game of football, for the NFL, winning 4 Super Bowl championships in 6 years, but also his personality off the field as well, man. People love him. He's just a guy that is down for anything, singing, dancing.
Bronson, what is it? Bronson, Missouri? Branson?
Mm-hmm.
I think he does a concert every year in Bronson, and Branson, Missouri, the one from She's Out of Your League, where they go on that vacation. You know what I'm talking about? So I think he does he sings. He'll go do like shows. He's done stand up. He's done movies. His butt cheeks were in a fucking Ryan Reynolds movie. Where he always talks about that.
I mean, on the football field, though, everyone loves him off the football field. But, he played so long ago, 1970 and 1984.
Yeah.
And it feels like he played in the 1800s, actually, because he played before we were even born. But like you said, I didn't really know the game of Terry Bradshaw until I got a little bit older and I started working with him. And then I started going back and watching the history of football. And Terry Bradshaw, he's one of the leaders, and he's kind of like a co-founder of bringing the NFL to a whole nother level and winning championships and creating the pass game as well. The guy's got a strong arm. He's an exceptional leader. He's a gunslinger, and he's resilient as well. He had one of the toughest coaches in the history of the NFL, from what I'm reading and what I'm experiencing, watching documentaries about the Steelers and Terry. This guy wanted to bench him, and he still went out and won Super Bowls. Pretty incredible. He's clutch, mobile. His ability to extend plays, too, when we were watching his highlights. So
Tough as hell.
Tough as nails, man.
The way those guys were getting hit back then, like he always tells me these stories about him when he's breaking his back and stuff, and he comes back 2 weeks later, and like those guys were on a whole different gridiron. Like we're tough football guys, and the game's probably a little faster and bigger now, but when you watch guys back in those days play, it looks like it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Like forearms to the face, taking guys down by their face masks, spitting on a guy when he's down, fucking people's elbowing. The things that we got in trouble for were like legal in this time. And he played 14 years and had 2 back-to-back Super Bowl runs. That's what people don't realize. He went back-to-back. They didn't win a couple, and then he went back-to-back again, which is fucking crazy. The Pittsburgh Steelers are like one of the most popular organizations in football because of Terry Bradshaw and those teams. Like setting that stage in early football, which isn't like early football, but like 70s football is early football. Which, I mean, I went to Kent State, so that's right. That's like 2 hours from Pittsburgh. And I just remember there was always so many fucking Pittsburgh Steelers fans everywhere around there. There'd be a lot of Cleveland Browns fans, but so many Pittsburgh Steelers fans everywhere. They travel, and it's because of Terry Bradshaw and those 1970 teams.
Would you say he is the original TB12?
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think Tom Brady wasn't a glee in his mom and dad's eye yet when he was winning Super Bowls. 1970. When was Brady born? 75.
It actually makes it so fun being on the set with. What makes it so fun, you know, working with Terry, though, being on the set, and now that Tom Brady is with Fox as well, is that I get the joke who my favorite TB12 is, you know, and it's whoever's treating me nicer at the time.
Yeah.
So Tom comes in, you know, I'm asking him a question, and he gives me props. I look at Terry, and I'm like, Terry, Tom's my favorite TB12 right now. And then Terry gets all mad and upset, and then he goes, but Gronk, I love you, and you're doing this great, and you're doing this great. And I look back up at Tom, I'm like, hey, the original TB12 is my favorite TB12, Tom. I'm sorry. And I love just working it and playing it. Just makes it a lot of fun, and that's why it's so fun working at Fox too, just with the teammates that we have is just, you know, unbelievable.
Have you heard that Tom Brady and Alias story?
I have actually.
From Terry?
Yeah.
So Terry
Tell it. Let's hear it. It's an unbelievable story. It is surreal.
In 1983, when he needed to get an elbow surgery, he didn't want it to be in the papers, so he used an alias name at the Louisiana hospital. You know what that name was?
Tom frickin' Brady.
Tom Brady. You can't fucking write that. And then the original TB12 basically named the current TB12? That's fucking gnarly. That's like some shit I just saw on the internet when
that's some psychic shit.
Yeah, no, there's like this book I saw that like some guy wrote in 1952 that, you know, in 2040 there's going to be a guy named Elon to get us to the Mars or something. I saw that recently on Instagram. Is that real? No. But it's kind of like the same thing.
Sounds good.
He was also Terry Bradshaw was the #1 pick. To live up the expectation from Louisiana Lafayette, from Louisiana Tech, to be the #1 pick, small country boy, to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers and win 4 Super Bowls, that's fucking crazy.
Crazy. He was a flat-out winner. And what I love about Terry, too, is nothing stopping that guy still to this day. I mean, whatever gets in his way, whatever gets in his path, he just keeps climbing over it and just keeps on going. He's always ready to go 24/7. I'm 35, and I look at him sometimes throughout the full day at Fox, and I'm getting tired. And Terry, never getting tired.
Never.
Just always ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. Always on point. Always giving a one-liner. Always talking football. Always breaking down a play. He's just immaculate, and I love learning from him, and I love being under his wing, and I love working with him as well, man.
Is he immaculate like the reception?
Ooh.
And then also one on a serious note, I'm pretty sure Terry Bradshaw was like one of the first NFL guys to talk about mental health back in those days, which, you know, it's talked about all the time now with football players and athletes, and it's pretty norm now. But it wasn't like that when we were playing. Like people were, you know, there was a stigma or a perspective or a perception on guys that wanted help mentally, or if you wanted to go talk to someone. And like to have a guy like Terry Bradshaw in the 70s, who was a fucking icon, you know, talk about his mental health. That's a big part for why we're at right now in sport, you know, being okay to like talk about your mentals. You know, as what is it? Marshawn Lynch says, you got to protect your chickens. You know, Terry Bradshaw was protecting his chickens back in the day.
I like it, Terry, man. I appreciate everything that you've done. But I got a question, real quick. If Terry's alias name was Tom Brady, what would your alias name be, Jules?
Ooh.
I'll tell you mine right after. Mine's pretty good, and it's understandable.
My alias name? I would go with
Would it be Danny Amendola?
nah, I think it would go with Francisco Delaware.
Francisco Delaware?
Yeah. That'd be my name.
But that's how you would call like the hotel and be like, what name would it be under?
Francisco Delaware.
Francisco Delaware.
Yeah. Francisco Delaware.
I'm not even going to ask you where that
What's
came
yours?
from. Mine's Bobby Whiskers. Because I got whiskers all over the place right here. Like, my hair's growing. I kind of shaved last night. So
Bobby Whiskers? That's a
my
good
name's
fucking
Rob,
name.
So Bobby Whiskers goes really well, and it works every time.
That's like an Italian, like, wise guy, like, nickname.
My friend,
hey, Bobby Whiskers.
My friend one time, he came into my hotel room drunk, and he got on the phone to call room service, and you know how they answer? And they're like, and they say your name. They're like, hello, Mr. Whiskers. How may I help you? And his jaw dropped. He was hammering. He goes, Mr. Whiskers. And he looks at him. He goes, you're freaking Mr. Whiskers? And then he gets back on the phone. Yes, I'm Mr. Whiskers. I'll fucking give me 8 cheeseburgers. And he hung back up, and the 8 cheeseburgers came.
Wait, so you actually use this an alias name?
Yeah, all the time, actually.
Bobby Whiskers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't wait to. Time. What kind of dude is Terry Bradshaw?
I mean, I feel like this one's pretty easy.
It is.
Jules.
I mean,
it is.
He's obviously a dog when you play in those days.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s, everyone had to be kind of doggish. I'm just going to put it out there. You had to be a dog to play in the fucking 70s.
I mean,
yeah, when you're getting your teeth
mentally tough he was too.
You're getting your teeth kicked in, and then you're going to work at the gas station in the off season. That's a dog. He's a great dude.
He is.
I mean, at work, he's a guy. He's a glue guy at work. Whenever we work with him nowadays, like he's always talking shop, and he'll make his rounds to like everyone, and you know,
want to go out to dinner, have a good time with you, have a drink with you. He definitely.
I mean, we did
big time.
We did go gambling once. We played craps, and he's never played craps before, and I'm not joking. Terry was rolling, and he rolled for fucking 61 minutes. 61 minutes. We had to get it timed.
Why not add 8 more minutes to that?
I wish he would have, but I took, dude. I won so much money with Terry, and like I'm sitting there like, Terry, give me a Tom Rath, and he's like, what's that? And he's throwing it. I'm like, it's a 44. He's like, is that good? I'm like, 44, yeah. He's like, did we win? I'm like, yeah, we won, Terry.
Oh, Jules, you're getting me excited right now. I want to go to Vegas with you, brother.
So he's definitely a dude's dude.
He is a dude's dude, but I would stamp him as a dog because of the era that he grew up in, and just what he did too under his head coach wanting to bench him, and him not, nothing ever phasing him.
He's also a stud though.
Winning 4 Super Bowls in 6 years as well, which is pretty incredible.
That's crazy.
I mean, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna break him down as, Jules?
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Dog.